This is Chicken Philosophy. The Meccan Revelations, part 52, in which I will pick up right where Gwydion left off in part 51. Okay, so first of all, cheers. Going with some old-fashioned stuff. But that's not what's on your mind. You're wondering why. Why is the music going so damn hard right now? Well, first of all, that's one guy just playing with one of those things. Well, just watch this later or whatever. We'll put it on the end screen. And the reason why it's going so hard, and the reason why it's like Ninja Gaiden or Gaiden. I was one of those kids that pronounced it Gaiden, I admit. This arrived. And I wasn't going to record today. I was taking the day off. Fully committed to take the day off. But this arrived. And I had to smell it. It's incense. Which meant I had to open it. But I wanted to open it on here with you guys. See my predicament I found myself in? So I concluded in the end that I would record today so that I could open this box and play this music. Actually, the music I selected before this arrived. If I'm being full disclosure. So what is it? What's in the box? What's in the box? This is in the box. It's been years. Because, I don't know how it is in the US, but in India, it's imported from the US, so it's like, it's pricey to have it delivered to your house in India. Oh, but fuck, So it's been a few years since I was in such a frivolous mood to buy a box of this, but I think it's like 200 sticks. So as long as I don't do stupid things like light 5 at once, which sometimes I used to be tempted to do that, but now I know what it's like to spend a few years without a box of cedarwood Morningstar incense. So I'm lighting 2 because it's Pew's favorite, and it's been so long she's forgotten what it smells like. So I'm lighting 2. 1 is gonna stay here with you while I take the other one, and so she can smell it as well. She remembered it. Now we'll get to the rest of the episode. Yeah, so today it's Meccan Revelations. Right. So we'll do that, and first we'll do the Hafiz bibliomancy as usual. As per usual. There's no book. I'm always looking for the bookmark, but this one, what we do is we just his ballet company. Everything of intelligence innocently watches the way one manages their body and silver. One's care of form is as a divine audition to the firmament's ballet company. All right. Cool. I know that it originally means, like a hammered plate of some kind, a hammered metal plate, firmament, I mean, and then Tree of Life me. It's like Typhoid? Is it? Is that the firmament, or is comment below? I'm genuinely curious what people would have to say about that. I suppose I could Google it, but no, I don't know if Google's sophisticated enough to interpret things. Yeah, and this, it's the space between. So why is a zodiacal sign that has water in its name, aqua, Aquarius, right? An air sign. And the answer is that between the waters above and the waters below, there is the firmament. So now you know. All right. So we'll get to the Hafiz. I don't know why I marked the last line of this previous paragraph, but so the one we left off on last time was, hence there is none more perfect than the world, since there is none more perfect than God, and existence is not perfected except through the manifestation of the temporarily originated thing. Okay, now we'll move forward. Since this is the situation, in terms of conditionality, and lack of independence on both sides, God called attention to it with his words, quote, I have divided the canonical prayer into two halves between myself and my servant. So one half belongs to me and one half to my servant. End quote. I was expecting something in parentheses telling me where that quote comes from, but I guess not. Maybe he's putting the words of God in his own words for the sake of this conversation. I've done the same. Guilty. This division also exists in God's taking the servant as his vicegerent, and in God's acting as guardian, in that in which the servant was made vicegerent. So being, with a capital B, is independent, with a capital I, but it is perfected by the temporally originated thing. That's a good pickup line, unironically. Write it down. Use it. Since God is jealous, lest something else be mentioned along with him, he manifested himself in theophany to the world in the form of the temporally originated things. The world's inhabitants come to know him in them. This is his notification, to them that he is, quote, independent of the worlds. Parentheses, Quran 3:97. Chapter 3, verse 97. Whatever, however it's divided. End parentheses. You have seen, you have seen his manifestation. It's followed by a colon, not COLON written out. That'd be different, You have seen his manifestation in his essence through theophany in the forms of the temporally originated things. Just look around you. This is God manifesting in theophany. I think I get it. This guy's a Vedantin, right? Yes. So your manifestation and non-existence are the same. In case you need it spelled out to you. If I say more than this, the guards are going to start looking over like, hey, what? Thus does he speak to the possible thing. At that, the possible thing becomes lowly in itself, in actuality. Then there occurs from it that for which God created it. Bracket parentheses, i.e. worship, and bracket parentheses. And there disappears from it the mightiness, or is, apostrophe I-Z-Z. Sometimes there's a lot of phonetic Arabic thrown in, but a long time ago, toward the beginning, I decided I wasn't going to read all that unless there was a reason to, and this one is just, it was cool. Mightiness is. So if you want to call someone mightiness in Arabic, you just call them is. Oh, you looking is. Of the possessing the preparedness for reception and the bestowal of existence. Bestow existence upon me.
Will you die for him? Yes.
Another good pickup line. I guess that's the response to the earlier one. Right? When it sees that it is God who is manifest through the entities of the forms which were engendered by its own reception and God's power, bracket parentheses, it knows that, end bracket parentheses, there is no need for reception by the possible things. The situation is actualized, and his words are correct. Quote, God is independent of the worlds. End quote. While I was recording this question, a divine flash flashed for me, and in it I saw whatever sciences God willed. And if you're curious, divine flash is Barika Ilabiyah. Okay. In a similar way, the prophet struck a stone that had been uncovered in the trench with a pickaxe, and when he struck it, there flashed forth a flash through which he saw that which God would conquer for his community. Spoilers, it was a lot. It's a lot of space for his community. If you didn't have history class, you're homeschooled. I mean, God bless. We all come from somewhere, right? He even saw the palaces of Basra like the tusks of an elephant. He saw those things in 3 strikes, in each of which a flash appeared to him under a specific aspect. I saw this in recording this chapter as a Muhammadan inheritance. Praise belongs to God. Yeah. Doing really well. In it and through it I saw that although God becomes manifest in the forms of the possible things, and is qualified by independence, this does not exclude him from a lack of independence. Yes, resolve the paradox for us, would you? We want these koans explained to us. Mr. Stereo Instructions. I don't know. There's something about... I think there's a reason why Sufi teachings are usually transmitted in poetry. I don't know. I'm just pulling its leg. This is good. I mean, I don't mind it. Usually. What are we reading here? Muhammad. And in it and through it I saw, although God becomes manifest in the things, quod, this does not exclude him from independence in respect to the existence of the temporally originated thing, since there must be reception on its part. But here there occurs debate. This is some of what the flash gave to me. Since God created the creatures to worship him, he clothed them in that attribute of his through which he sought them, and through it they worship him. For it is not correct that they should worship him through themselves in respect of, bracket parentheses there, end bracket parentheses, independence. That is why the law, with a capital L, so you know it's serious, tells them to say, quote, "Thee alone we worship," end quote, and then, quote, "and from thee alone we seek help," end quote. Quran 1:4. It's like the fourth verse of the first chapter of the Quran. It's like, okay, part of that opening. For there is no independence in worship, so it instructs them to seek help in worshiping him, just as their reception was a help to the divine power in creation. If there were not this interconnection, there could be neither worship nor bestowal of existence. Hence, bestowal of existence is a worship, but it belongs to God. God worshipped you when he bestowed you with existence. Another good pickup line. There's a lot of them today, apparently. But it is what is sought from the creatures. So they are worshippers, while he is the worshipped. He bestows existence, while they are existent things. The lam of cause, okay, there's a footnote, but I have to go find it in the back of the book. I'll just keep reading and see if we need to know more about the lam of cause, L-A-M with a little hat on the A. Unless that's a capital I, in which case the yam of cause, I think it's an L. The lam of cause is inherent to both sides. It is what the law calls a, quote, wisdom, end quote, or, in parentheses, hikmah, end quote. Let's Tree of Life me. If you recall, chokmah, the gray one, is wisdom, or Sophia. And apparently in Arabic, hikmah, very close cousin of Hebrew. Or, end quote, occasion, end quote. For God is the wise, and in each thing he has a manifest wisdom. The people of unveiling and finding, with a capital U and a capital F, know that the wisdom is in all things, while the exoteric authorities, fuck them. I mean, let's come to understand both sides and understand where they're coming from and weep for the childhoods that they endured, and give them a hug and hope they go away and leave us alone, right? Love for everybody, but to each a different kind of love. Sorry, it's better to love some from a distance, is what I'm saying. The exoteric authorities know it in prescriptions, which can only be known in respect of the law. So the wisdom of prescriptions can only be known in respect of the law, as, for example, his words, quote, "In retaliation, there is life for you," end quote. Quran 2:179. As for the view that prescription has a cause from God's side, this is an opinion, not a known fact. I admire Ibn Arabi for, making that clarification. But God opened the door of deduction for them, parentheses, i.e. those who hold this opinion, and bracket parentheses. Oh, maybe he's still elaborating on the position of the pole of that quote from the Quran, I created man and jinn to worship me. That the saints that are temporarily stuck in this particular mode of relating with reality, this is how they see things. Okay. I kind of forgot that. I just thought this was Ibn Arabi talking. But maybe he kind of is. Like, just because you're saying, well, from this perspective, it's this, doesn't mean the thing that you're saying really isn't your perspective. I mean, it doesn't mean it is, and it doesn't mean it isn't, I guess. He opened the door of deduction for them, i.e. those who hold this opinion, through the causality he mentioned in the Revelations sent down. So some of it is obvious and some hidden. In the same way, God has in the things a non-manifest wisdom, known only to him, and those to whom he gives knowledge of it. Therefore, he said, bracket parentheses, in the verse mentioned in the title, bracket parentheses, jinn, i.e. that which is hidden, and mankind, i.e. that which is manifest, so that it is known in its essence in respect of its manifestation, quote, except to worship me, end quote, thereby affirming the cause for creation. To call back for a moment to the Nag Hammadi this week, it kind of rather reminds me of the opening of the Nicene Creed, of all things seen and unseen. If that had been, we believe in one, God, the Father Almighty, maker of heaven and earth, of all things, mankind and jinn. Just kind of give it a little bit of a different spin vibe. In the same way, God has in the things a non-manifest wisdom. Did I just read all that? That which is manifest, so that it is known in its essence in respect of its manifestation, quote, except to worship me, end quote, thereby affirming the cause for creation. So this is the Lamb of wisdom and occasion, according to the law, and the Lamb of cause, according to the intellect. Just a reminder, that's not a lamb like meh, meh. That's a lamb as in L-A-M, and I don't know what it means. Maybe you know what it is, but I don't. When we limit ourselves to what is called Allah. İçimde Allah, dilimde Allah, zikrimde Allah, fikrimde Allah, aklımda Allah, aşkımda Allah, aslımda Allah, kanımda Allah. Hasbi Rabbi Cellallah, ma fi kalbi gayrullah, Nur Muhammad sallallahu la. In common language, the created thing worships other than God, for we see that most of the world's inhabitants are only poor toward phenomenal causes. How is this? Has not God said, quote, thy Lord has decreed that you shall not worship any but him, Quran 17:23. And, quote, O people, you are the poor toward Allah. İçimde Allah, dilimde Allah, zikrimde Allah, fikrimde Allah, aklımda. Let's not overdo it. Nor did he decree that other than Allah be worshipped. Therefore, he must be identical with all things. That is, identical with everything toward which there is poverty, and which is worshipped. In the same way, he is identical with the worshipper, in the case of every worshipper, for he said, quote, I am his hearing, end quote, when he addresses him with prescriptions and instruction. So the servant does not hear his words except through his hearing. And so it is with all of his faculties, through which alone he is able to be a worshipper of God. Hence nothing becomes manifest in the worshipper and the worshipped except his heinous. Therefore, the wisdom, occasion, and cause are nothing but he, while the result and that which is occasioned are nothing but he. So he alone worships and is worshipped. He's worshiping himself when you bow down. He got away with saying shit like this in Damascus in the 1100s. What a guy. So he alone worships and is worshipped. The prophet said in his address when he was praising his Lord, quote, for we, bracket parentheses, exist, and bracket parentheses, only through him and for him, end quote. So he addresses and he listens. says, "This is a situation that cannot be refuted, for he is identical with the situation." I think we got some Venus on the Tree of Life energy happening here, if you know what I mean. It connects everything from top to bottom, remember? No. However, preference among people takes place. It certainly does. Through that which some of them contemplate and others declare forbidden. Yeah, the exoteric authorities we spoke of earlier. So the knower knows himself in the biblical sense, the Quranic sense. Is that the same thing? I doubt it. So the knower knows about other than himself what? What the other does not know about himself, i.e. concerning what the other is in himself. Hence, relative preference becomes manifest. But in spite of this manifestation, the created thing does not cease having God as its he-ness. He''Ness. By reason of the relative preference of the divine names, which are the attributes, and they are not other than he. Not known are the creatures except through him. Not known is he except through them. It's written in like a different like italics and whatnot, but it doesn't say what that's quoting. For as his being described by, quote, independence of the world, end quote, that is only for him who supposes that God is not identical with the world. Perhaps a panentheist, rather than just a pantheist, right? Who distinguishes between the denotation and that which is denoted, and who has not realized through speculative thought that when the denotation of a thing is the thing itself, it does not oppose itself. So the entire affair is one. Though expressions of it are diverse, so he is the knower, knowledge, and the object of knowledge. He is the denotation, the denoter, and that which is denoted. So through knowledge, he knows knowledge. Hence knowledge is knowledge's object of knowledge. If you take nothing with you today, take that. So he is the object of knowledge and knowledge, while knowledge is inherent to the knower. Here we have the words of the theologian, Mutakalim. I think that's the Arabic word for theologian, not the name of the guy, because it's not capitalized. Quote, "It is not other than he," end quote, but nothing more. As for the theologian's words, quote, "It is not he," end quote. After this, that is because he sees that it, bracket parentheses, the attribute with a capital A and bracket parentheses, is conceived of as superadded to what he is. So there remains that it be he. But the theologian is not able to affirm that it is he without a knowledge describing him thus. So he's describing him thus. So he says, quote, "It is not other than he," end quote. Since he is bewildered, he speaks in accordance with what his understanding gives him. So he says that God's attribute is not he, nor is it other than he. But when we say something like these words, we do not say them within the limits of the theologian, for he necessarily conceives of the superadded thing. But we do not hold that there is something superadded. Hence the theologian has nothing more to offer than him who says, quote, "God is poor," End quote. Except in the beauty of the expression. And we seek refuge in God, lest we be among the ignorant. These are some of the results of this constant invocation. That's the end. What constant invocation? The one that goes, God did not create mankind and jinn except to worship me. I mean, I did not create them except to worship me. Right? We're all caught up. So we finished a section, and so that's that poll. So all that stuff he was saying was, he was framing it as, this is one perspective. And he has gone over other perspectives as well. So that's kind of an interesting, I don't know. Maybe that's how he got away with it too. Like, there's the people who think this way, and they're like, what, do you think this way? And he's like, all I'm saying is there's people who think this way. You know, sometimes people start thinking this way, but then they leave that behind and they start thinking one of these other ways. And he's the way he's putting it, he's just stating that as a fact. He's not saying any of the ways that he's mentioning are wrong. I don't think he's exactly specifically said that there are no wrong ways, but strongly implied from his very Vedantic, repeated kind of coming back to, it's just God worshiping himself because God, there is nothing but God, I don't know. I lost my train of thought. But yeah, it was good, I think. The incense especially was good. And I don't know, it was pretty mellow today. The weather wasn't too hot. I wasn't wearing heavy robes like a fool. I think it went well. Hopefully the music was good as well. And I wish you well. Happy Sunday. Have a good week. Have a great week coming up. May you succeed in all your endeavors. And whatever I said at the beginning was going to be the end screen at the end is what you're going to see. So you can click that. And that should be fun. All right. Oh yeah, it's the music. The guy playing the Ninja Gaiden music. All right. Until next time. محمد صلى الله لا إله